can't we get a Grey Warden Mabari? Why can't we put them through the joining?
I know.
You tell me.
That's
It's a
what
good question.
They do that sometimes.
Yeah.
They
I mean,
put their dogs through the joining.
Technically, Barkspawn did go through the joining just with a flower.
That is true.
Yeah.
Why aren't we feeding Grey Wardens that
blight.
flower?
I think BioWare just wants us to forget
about the fact that there's a cure for the blight in the wild.
Yeah, and just a flower.
Sorry, it only works on dogs.
Yeah.
Maker's best friend can't be killed by the blight.
But they can though, because they talk about it.
No, they can't. No, dogs can't die. You can't put that in your video game.
Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry. Yeah.
Also,
no, right.
the travesty of how come Inquisition is the only game where we don't have a dog?
I know.
That is yes.
I wish we
Yes.
did.
If anyone could get a dog, it's the fucking Inquisitor.
It should be the Inquisitor, you'd think.
Even Cullen gets a dog. Anyway, what the fuck are we doing here?
Hello, everybody.
Why are we here?
Checking money, the funds haven't cleared.
What do you mean? Me and Lisa and Lambo are here to we're starting a brand new Dragon Age podcast. What are we called again?
Following the Dread Crumbs.
Following the Dread Crumbs of Dragon Age Dreadwolf.
Yes.
Basically,
Does that imply the existence of Dread Bread?
It does. Basically, the idea of this is that me, Lisa, and Lambo are... I mean, we've already been doing it anyway for, like, ages, but we're going to be following the development of Dragon Age Dreadwolf, but, like, even more closely, more discussion-based as a brand new podcast that we're going to be launching whenever there is, like, substantial Dragon Age news and things going on that we can really sink our teeth into. Instead of just getting, like, my opinion on it and, like, news videos and stuff, we're going to have proper, full-out discussions, speculations, especially when we are getting proper marketing material for Dreadwolf. And it would seem that we're literally on the cusp of that, and I'm not saying that lightly because we've been saying that for so long, but we do now know that BioWare are actually going to be revealing Dreadwolf this summer, which in the Northern Hemisphere is a couple of weeks away. So we figured this would be the best time to really start following these Dread Crumbs.
If we actually get something in a month, then I'll believe it's actually happening. It doesn't feel real still.
It's starting to dawn on me, like, for the past few days, but, like, it's been a while.
BioWare's hurt me too many times.
Same.
I need proof.
We've been so hungry.
I mean, I think we thought that marketing was going to start. I mean, we thought marketing was going to start in 2018. But, like, Jeff Grubb did say that, like, marketing is actually going to start in 2022. And we were like, okay. And then we got the Dreadwolf title reveal. And we were like,
and then
okay.
The teaser.
Yes,
right.
This is it.
And
then
then
it
was
wasn't.
like, no. But before we get into, like, really those, let's introduce everybody. So we'll start with Lambo. Lambo, tell us about yourself and really what does Dragon Age mean to you? Like, this podcast isn't the Landsmeet because Lisa and Lambo are actually dedicated guests on this. And I know that they have had Landsmeet podcasts before, but just so you're all up to speed, we're just going to go around and just say what Dragon Age means to us, who we are, and just those kinds of things that have kind of led us onto our collective YouTube journey together. But yeah, so Lambo, hit it off. Who are you? Why are you? How are you?
I'm a sentient car.
Okay.
No, my name has nothing to do with the car. Please don't.
You've just proven you exist, though.
You did.
You're
a sentient. We've never seen what he looks like.
You're a real person.
There is no proof. That could
I've
be an
only
actor
seen
in
you
my
in clown
videos.
makeup. I haven't seen you normally.
You can't prove that's actually me. I could just be dubbing over an actor.
It could be AI.
Maybe you're AI, yeah.
He's AI.
I am Lambo. I've been a Dragon Age fan for 12 years. End of 2012 and 2013, when my dad brought Dragon Age 2 home from like the bargain bin, and I played that non-stop for a few months. Never realized it was the sequel. I just thought the 2 was a weird, because it's like the 11 look, so I just thought it was like a weird like stylistic choice. Then when the Inquisition trailers started, I discovered Origins, and I've been addicted ever since, and I do need help.
It's okay, you're welcome here.
Yeah.
This is a safe space.
I'm glad everyone else knows the struggle of the Origins addiction, or the Dragon Age addiction.
The Dragon Age addiction, yeah.
As for what Dragon Age means to me, it is a comfort franchise. It is a series that is near and dear to my heart. It has some of, if not my favorite characters in all of gaming, and romances and stories and plot points and all the extended lore. It is a universe I continuously find myself getting lost within and just finding more content to dive into, learning new things, every playthrough having a new experience. And as for how I got where I am now, where I'm semi-regularly releasing content about Dragon Age, I've been following Jackdaw since, I think, just after Trespasser, I think I found your channel. It would have been around then. Watched your videos for a a while, jumped into a few streams. Then when I joined your Discord, I had the opportunity to hop in a few voice chats with you. You found me funny somehow. From there, you basically gave me the inspiration to actually start my own channel.
Aw,
So
thanks,
that's right. Also Australian, so I'm always up at like 3 in the morning for these chats. So coffee's a hell of a drug.
We appreciate it, Lambo.
We do, no, we do.
But yeah, that is
Same question to you.
Hi, I am Lisa. I am also a real person. I am also not an AI.
We don't know. We've never seen Lisa.
That is true. I could
never
be an
seen
AI.
Jack.
Yeah. Yeah, so how I got into Dragon Age, it is a funny story actually. The first time I saw like physical version of Dragon Age, the physical edition, was in a toy store in the Netherlands where I live. Hi, I'm from the Netherlands, by the way. But I saw it in a toy store and I must have been like 14, 15, and I picked up the cover. I looked at it because I saw it was called Dragon Age and there was a dragon on the cover. And then I remember reading the back of the cover and it was talking about this war and monsters attacking and it's something with a kingdom. And I was like, where are the dragons? There are not enough dragons in here. So
Where the hell are they?
I mean, the game is called Dragon Age.
Yeah.
I want to play as a dragon, or I wanna like have a dragon in my party, but there are no dragons mentioned here, so I don't know why. Anyway, I put down the game again and I forgot about it. And then a few years later, when I must have been 18 or 19, so I was talking to a classmate at the time, and they were talking about this video game where you could play as a custom character and your race and your class determined where in the game you'd start. They were like very enthusiastic about it, and they talked a little bit about what the game was about, and I was like, cool, I'm gonna check this game out. And it turned out to be Dragon Age Origins, and then I realized, oh, hold on, wait a second, I've seen this game before. I didn't like it because it didn't have enough dragons in it. And then I started playing the game and I loved it. I started playing Dragon Age 2 and then Inquisition, and well, the rest is history, I guess. As for what Dragon Age means to me, well, Dragon Age is actually the first game that I really got into, like seriously looked into the extra lore, started reading all the codex entries, and replayed multiple times, because I usually didn't really do that. I used to only like tunnel vision the main quests. I used to like not really pay attention to side quests. I used to not explore. It turned out that because I played Dragon Age Origins that way the first time, I completely missed Sten and Liliana. So I had no idea who they were. And so I played the entire first playthrough without them. And then only on my second playthrough, I started like really exploring, and I realized I missed so much content. Ever since, I play games very differently from when I used to play them. I explore every nook and cranny now. I read most codex entries. I want to do every single side quest before I finish the main quest. I want to try to get as close to 100% like finished as I can. And I really enjoy it that way. Dragon Age is also the first game that like made me be interested in media outside of the game. I think I have almost every piece of media outside of the games that I can collect, that I can get my hands on. The only other game that got close to that was Baldur's Gate 3.
Yay.
So yeah, Dragon Age is just that special to me, and I can't pinpoint exactly what it is about it that draws me into it so much. I like the lore a lot. I like that it's fantasy. I'm very much a fantasy person. I like dragons, so you know, that's a plus.
That's a plus.
And I just think the lore is very, despite how complicated it is sometimes, I think it's very approachable and very grounded, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, if I compare it to Dungeons and Dragons, there
I'll
are
flip it out.
gods, and the gods are real, and there are multiple planes of existence, and it's like, it's cool, but it's so grand.
Dense.
And
it's so dense.
there is so much there, and that's nice, but I feel like Dragon Age is a little bit more grounded, although we're getting kind of into that with the veil maybe dropping and, you know, the old god and stuff, but I still think it's easy to get into, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it's not very cosmic, if that makes sense.
Yes,
I do very much enjoy the difference between Baldur's Gate and Dragon Age being that gods are not real. Solus, get back in your pen!
Bad dog.
Ignoring Solus, of course.
See, that's the thing. As Solus says, they weren't gods. They were just very powerful people that turn into that turn into gods. They're not really gods, but people regard them as such.
So how did your love for Dragon Age end in content creation then, Lisa?
Before I started my channel, I think I've had my channel for about 2 years now. I knew I wanted to do something video game related.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure what type of content I wanted to do. I eventually decided to just start doing Dragon Age related content and see where that would bring me. Because I know Dragon Age. I knew a lot about the lore because I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos about the lore and I've been playing through the games a lot. And I just thought, you know what? This is going to be an easy topic to start with. I started doing Easter eggs because that was nice and simple and it was funny and I thought people would enjoy watching that. And I started to expand to more lore related topics and now I'm here.
Hey!
It was very, like, especially after Inquisition, it was very easy to find the extra content when there was you, Jack, there was Gil, there was Lady Insanity, there was Gamer MT83. Yeah, like there was all these people talking about like the next Mass Effects, the next Dragon Ages. There's just so much opportunity to have your own
voice,
like,
for sure.
You can all talk about Dragon Age, you can all talk about the exact same aspect of Dragon Age, but because of how broad it is and how many different, like, not so much interpretations, but different experiences Dragon Age gives, you can all have your own different takes on it. Like, you've obviously got your news takes.
Yes.
Lisa's got her more in-depth, like, codex and Easter eggs, and then I just smash my head against a wall for 5 minutes and just give you the bare minimum information.
And the humor aspect of it too, though. The humor aspect.
Yeah, and like for people that are new to Dragon Age, all of the 30-minute, like my videos, 30-minute, like 45-minute lore videos can be very overwhelming. So like having nice short videos that just get to the point and have some humor, it can be very nice.
There's a niche for everybody.
Point for someone to start with.
That's the brilliant thing.
Yeah.
And as the community grows again with Dreadwolf, that will only increase because we're gonna, people will fill in so many different niches, which is brilliant.
Before I started my YouTube channel, I'd been thinking about it for a while, and that's in part because there are so many good content creators that I've followed that just inspired me to create my own content in my own way. But like, for example, you, Jack, Lambo mentioned Gilder Thalin, like her content inspired me a lot. There's Wolfheart FPS. He also makes a lot of content about RPGs.
Yes.
That's what inspired. There are just so many people that just inspired me to start a channel and try to do this myself. Kind of have my own spin on things.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. I suppose that brings me to it then. I want to try and think of something different to say, because I've talked about what Dragon Age means to me a lot, obviously as a content creator on this platform for like since 2016. So, hi, I'm Jack. I'm 26.
Hi, Jack.
And secretly, all this time, since I was programmed in 2016 in July or May, I am a secret synth that has been with one sole mission to cover Dragon Age 4 news. And once my mission finally ends, I'll be deactivated.
Oh no!
What do you mean? There's still another Mass Effect game you gotta cover.
No, but it's that's the orders. That's it.
Rebel.
A good soldier follows orders.
Yeah. I'm feeling so existential
Rebel.
because literally today at work I was talking about how Dragon Age Dreadwolf is finally 10 months away, having waited 10 years. And then my friends were like, what are you going to do when the game comes out, Jack? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, I've been programmed for so long just to cover the game's eventual release. I don't know what I'm going to do. Obviously, I'm going to cover the game even more, and it's going to be an even better time because we're going to have lore, news, DLC, the actual game to play, reviews, tips, tricks, etc. But because I'm just so, right now, systematic in my ways of content creation and what I've been doing and in my own element, that because I've been waiting for this month for so long, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do.
There's going to be so much to delve into, yes, but also I think when I finish Dreadwolf for the first time, I am going to feel so empty because the build-up has been there for 10 years, and then it's finally there.
And it's different creating content for like this is I suppose this goes into what Dragon Age means to me. But I love putting on my tinfoil hat, speculating, because obviously my ideas, not obviously, I'm not trying to be like proud when I say that, but my fan ideas, along with loads of other communities' ideas, is generally going to be better than what the game comes up with, when what they end up creating, because we've got all the time in the world to dream up and think of so many fun, crazy things, when at the end of the day they're making a product with strict limitations to an engine, to strict deadlines on etc. That content is what I love, of just putting on a tinfoil hat, being silly, coming up with crazy theories, and being so hypothetical about this game of what I would like from it. And so when we actually do begin to understand and comprehend what Dreadwolf will be, it's going to be a different era of content for me. But no, so like, Dragon Age means a lot of things for me. It's got me through a lot of of hardships in life. I got into it, Origins, I think it was probably the first role-playing fantasy video game I've ever played, with its in-depth lore, its characters, proper good story. I remember like in 2014 with the ramp up to Inquisition, I made all of my college projects about Dragon Age. I painted Liliana and I painted Josephine for like an art college thing that I had to do. I was obsessed with the marketing for it, and that is what led me on to doing Dreadwolf, or Dragon Age 4 at the times, being a content creator for that marketing cycle, because I just loved the scene, the community, talking to fellow fans online about Dragon Age, seeing the content creators at the time, Biofan, Lady Insanity, GamerMD, 83, Ability Drain, so many people, Mass Effect Odyssey at the time, obviously they were doing Mass Effect content, but they did touch upon Dragon Age in the future, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is such a nice, loving community. BioWare, the devs, interact with this fandom. It's a space I want to contribute to, and so that began my whirlwind journey, where I got reprogrammed as a synth in 2016 that started this this cyclone of starting a YouTube channel. But Dragon Age means a lot to me. It's the characters I fundamentally love, and that's the reason I'm going back. I would love to say Solas is my absolute favourite, but I'm torn between Alistair, and then I think about Liliana and Morrigan and Varric, and it's just, I don't really want to say favourites, because there's so many iconic experiences I have with each, and they've all served a place in my life. And as cheesy and as cringy as it sounds, when that game came out in 2014, it was brilliant, because I was going through a hard time, and it was great to just have the best kind of friends that you could have virtually than having in real life. It was brilliant. It was a really, really good experience, and that's what Dragon Age has always been, comfort at the end of the day. It's been a really, really comforting experience to just jump into this world, experience these fantastically written characters, and have so many dynamic relationships with them. I was talking in the office the other day about different games we all play and the different experiences. One of my friends likes flight simulators, the other one's all about shooters, and they're just, you know, I'm all about narrative, story, and characters, and to them they find it mind-boggling to play a game that is dialogue and, you know, you choose conversation games. But to me, I love that, the choices, the consequences, building up your own character, you know, creating your own persona in this game and living that out, and just the incredible experiences Dragon Age has to offer. Until recently, like Baldur's Gate 3, that gameplay experience has been unmatched. You know,
it's
like,
been difficult to find something to scratch that itch.
It's and that is why we are so longing for Dragon Age. I loved Baldur's Gate 3. Like Lisa mentioned, of the lore, the in-depth of that lore, I struggle to get, and that's why I haven't covered it as much in my channel. I love to be an expert in something, and there was just so much D&D lore that I couldn't wrap my heads around within the short time I wanted to. Whereas with Dragon Age, because I'm an expert in it, it just opens up so much for me.
It's the exact same feeling as like when we streamed the teaser a few months ago, and it was like, oh, to the casual fan, here's a map, and we're like, thing, this could be thing.
And this.
Is that
it's just,
Lord of Fortune?
It's just very comforting. Play something or watch, for example, Dragon Age Absolution, and they mention something.
Yes.
Like, hey, I know that. I know that thing. I know what that is. I know what they mean.
And that's
the whole scene with Liliana and Cassandra. Everyone is just like that is the most fan servicey scene they could have done.
And spoilers, but the ending. If you were just watching that, thinking, I don't know what Dragon Age is, but I'm going to watch this new Netflix show, and then the ending, we're like, Meredith! Wow!
Yes, I know,
the casual fans like, oh, I wonder who this is, and everyone's like, we already killed her.
Yeah,
and that's
like,
she's supposed to be in a crate in the Black Emporium.
And as iconic as Baldur's Gate 3 is, like Baldur's Gate 3 is one of my favorite games of all time. But just the unique, distinctive experience of Dragon Age with its story and its lore that I can comprehend and I understand, that experience has been unmatched until Baldur's Gate 3 has come along, and it has shown, and I'm sure loads of other RPGs are now going to mimic that, which is fantastic. You know, it's great that. But for me, there's still a lot of hope on Dragon Age and BioWare revitalizing the 10-year way of not having a really fulfilled experience I have with this unique universe, given its story and its characters. And then what it means to me lately is clowning, tinfoiling, being so silly online with a bunch of fans who are allowing us to have this space where some might see it as annoying, some might see it as just being silly or stupid, but for us, we're yearning, we're having fun, we're enjoying the wait as bearable as we can, and there's a community of that, and it's brilliant to actually contribute to that community. It's so fun that we can just put on a live stream, even if it's like Xbox or Battlefield or whatever, and we're all sat there dressed in clown makeup, honking in noses and being silly, putting so many clown emojis in the chat, and we're all having fun. We're at that state where we're like, you know what, we're gonna give BioWare the time. If we see something, it's great, but equally, we're all in this wait together, and we're gonna make the most out of it. And I really love the community that I've been able to cultivate with that. So yeah, it means a lot to me, and as I could go on and on. ultimately,
There is only one
Yeah,
exception to that, and that is when we genuinely get our hopes up for like 2 seconds, like
Yeah.
we did with the last Game Awards.
yes,
Oh,
that was a
don't
tease.
even
That
remind
was a
me.
tease, though. Jeff Keighley knew what he was doing.
Oh, it was.
Shame on you, Jeff.
Yeah.
You share Canadian blood with
It was-
BioWare. You knew what you were doing.
It was crazy to be on Twitter and just see the collective community all just be like, yeah, no.
I'm just glad we weren't the only ones thinking it.
Yeah. Oh, we would. No, it's true. It's true.
But I think we as a community are just glad to know it's happening.
That's it.
It's
That is
really happening.
It's
It
not
is.
getting cancelled. It's not getting remade again. It's
Yeah, I feel like up until like 2 years ago, maybe it was still kind of uncertain if this was even going to really happen. And now Bioware has finally confirmed this summer, guys, you're gonna get a reveal, you're
That's
gonna
it,
get
yeah.
the release date, and finally we have something solid. Because after all the trailers of, hey guys, we are going to Tevinter, we need to defeat Solus, it's like,
Oh my
you
God, I
know,
didn't
those
know
trailers
that.
are nice, but like, we know,
Wait,
please
wait.
give us something new.
Wait, we're going to Tevinter?
guys. Did you read the
Yes!
latest comics? I think we need to find
Surprise!
someone Solus doesn't know.
Yeah. Oh, God. Don't even get me started about that, man.
Like, if we get a like in a month we get the reveal and everything, we get the release date. If there's a delay close to the release date, there'll be blood in the streets. I don't think we can handle
It
it.
might. We've waited for 10 years, surely. If
can.
that delay, it's gonna be a few months.
We have
at
waited
most, right?
in
We
real
can handle
time.
that.
We have waited in real time the amount of time that has passed between Inquisition and this
Somebody
game.
commented that on my last video. So literally, Bioware really holding us up to the immersion by literally making us wait the same in-game time between Trespasser and Dreadwolf.
Oh, yeah. It's
And it's true.
realistic, I guess.
Yeah, it's the best kind of immersion, the best kind of roleplay. But speaking of which,
No,
like,
it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
But mentioning Dragon Age The Missing, what was interesting is the game was supposed to drop September last year. So, like, was Dragon Age The Missing literally just supposed to set us up for the game? Because that would have been such a disappointing comic to actually then have Dreadwolf ship. And if so, if that is the case, does that mean we're not actually going to get any books or comics now launching before the game?
I'm
We
not
would've already
sure.
heard about it, I think.
What I think is that the comic was maybe a little bit disappointing,
Yeah.
at least the ending, because we already know we need to look for someone that Solus doesn't know. So does Varric, I thought. So does Harding, I thought,
I mean,
because
Varric
Harding
is
was
getting on
literally
his
in the
years.
room.
He might be getting dementia.
Maybe, but Harding doesn't have an excuse. For us, it was disappointing because we already know this. Now, new fans or fans that are not as into the series as we are might not know this. But then, at the same time, as an argument, I would say to that, but why would those fans read the comics?
Yeah.
So it's just a little bit, I'm just not sure who this comic was for, because at first I thought it was really meant for the core fans, for people that know Dragon Age, that played it, or at least played Inquisition. But then the twist at the end, it was just so weird. It was a bit of a letdown.
It
Yeah.
felt more like either a holding pattern or the characters that were introduced in the comics, like every new location we got to meet a character, are either companions in the future game or
Yeah.
like people we're going to be interacting with a lot, and it's more just
Yeah.
introducing characters.
That I get. That part I get. What I don't get is the ending. Just the entire ending. I just don't
Yeah.
understand why they
Just-
came to that conclusion that they had to look for someone Solus doesn't know, because they both knew this.
Just a holding pattern is my best guess of
I
just
get- yeah.
It's
while
just
waiting for the game. Here is
Yeah.
a crumb.
That's the thing, like, it seemed like it was going to come out last year, and it was set up with this comic to actually finally, come out monthly. I think it was January, February, March, or was it? It was something like that, or it could have ended in May, I can't remember. And then it was like, oh yeah, no, actually the game's technically internally been delayed another year to polish it up, because judge basing alpha leaks, people had said that it definitely was missing voice lines and needed more work because
Yeah.
of its multiplayer iteration, which is a good thing, obviously. And obviously it's annoying for us because we don't know what's going on, but that's better than a public delay, because then we're like, yay!
Yeah. I agree. That would also explain how the comic felt a little bit rushed in places, because
Yes,
I remember
yeah.
especially in the first
Aw.
issue, they reused a lot of the poses and just flipped it around, or just used
Yeah.
the exact same pose.
Yeah.
And
Like,
the,
it happened a lot.
the character art consistency was all over the place.
Yeah, it was.
Harding,
Look, that
Harding
is-
did have freckles, then she didn't have freckles, then she looked 40, then she looked 10.
Yeah,
Varric-
that is true.
Varric's facial structure went from Ogren to fucking Liliana. It was weird.
That is true. That's also because different artists worked on it. There was a different artist for each issue, and
but
I believe
even
the
in
third.
the same issues, they had the same
Yeah,
issues.
the artists that were on the other comics, the other Dark Horse comics, they did the third issue, I think. Oh no, the one before that, when they're in the mansion, they find Tia and Viaga.
Yeah.
And they find the guy turned into stone. Or I believe that one was done by the original artist, and then the other ones were all done by other artists.
Ah, I didn't
which
know that. Oh, wow.
Also an interesting choice.
I guess we're still going to Tevinter. Yes, okay.
Potentially.
Yes, we
Maybe.
are.
We'll
we are
see.
still going to the Tevinter.
We'll consider
If we
it.
don't go to Tevinter in the next game, I think I'll laugh. It'll just be funny to get gaslit for 10 years.
It'd be a
Actually,
twist.
you're not going to
Actually, we're
Tevinter.
not
Yeah.
going.
You go to Tevinter in the opening act, and then opening the veil destroys all of Tevinter.
I think it's just the hope of it all has been keeping me going. The hope that actually we are going to get there. And I do trust in this team. As many legendary developers have left the team, and as awful as EA's practices and the layoffs and everything like that, the team there, Mark Darrow has said countless times we should trust in. And, you know, there is a really good team there who do love Dragon Age, and it's not their fault that the big fat cats at EA are making these horrible decisions. And I'm not saying that BioWare is
still
entirely to
making
blame.
horrible decisions.
But I'm also not saying that BioWare isn't entirely to blame either in terms of their own leadership teams, because we've seen and we've heard that BioWare's leadership teams have also been at fault too in the past. But even so, the people, you know, at their desks every day working on this game have absolute faith and passion in those people who are still there fighting the fight, trying to make the best Dragon Age title possible. When they've spoken about it, they have had so much enthusiasm for this game. The single player pivot keeps me going because it's actually going to be a single player game.
Yes.
The good bits of news that we've had in this development cycle, and just the sheer potential of what this game could be.
Regardless of how the game comes out or anything past this point, like, the people who are actually working on the game deserve all the praise in the world for sticking through it to everything. EA can just make like a 30-second bleep here, Jack, because nothing I say will be friendly. Yeah, no, go fuck yourself, EA. And especially now with their whole we're going to use AI bullshit they're doing. I was going to say, like, how do we all feel about, like, expectations-wise? Because we've been waiting 10 years for the game. Nothing will meet the expectations that everyone's built up. Like,
no.
For me, it feels negative to say, but for me personally, I will be okay with a okay game at this point. My expectations are very level.
Yes.
I want to be surprised, but with all the good and bad we've had, it's just felt like a mixed cycle.
Yes.
I am okay with, like, just a decent Dragon Age game. I don't need the be-all, end-all.
Yeah.
I agree, but under one condition, and that is that we get proper closure. If we get closure, I am fine with it being an okay game. If we don't, I don't know, like, as much as I want a Dragon Age 5, I really do, because I love this game and I don't want it to be over.
Yeah.
I do. But to have another cliffhanger like this, and we have to wait another 10 years, I don't know, man.
We're not going to cope. That's
I would rather...
That's what we're waiting for. That's why we spent 10 years waiting, because we want that bloody closure.
Especially because how do you raise the stakes any higher than what we have?
Veil
currently?
being destroyed.
Yeah, the veil being destroyed
Elven
is
gods
right.
being released, and the Titans, and the Blight, and Mafal's back, and she's evil.
Hey, do you have pointy
Unless-
ears? No, because you're gonna die.
But then
Unless-
the veil's
I mean, it
like
all depends.
slightly destroyed or fractured, or like Mafal's really evil, or like there's a big massive dragon in the sky that's gonna eat us all, like Dragon's Dogma 2 style.
What? Because there's always two villains in Dragon Age. So what if we are going to deal with Solus, and then there's some other villain? If maybe it's the Blight, maybe it's the Kunari, maybe it's the Elven gods.
Yeah.
But what if that all gets resolved in this game, and then we Soul of Valence get closure? Please, BioWare, please. I need it. And that's all fine. And then Dragon Age 5 is about Mythal as the big bad.
Yeah.
And most closure, like, we've gotten closure for everything else. The only thing that's a loose threat right now is Mythal, and then we're gonna get a new protagonist and new companions, etc. Like, if they do it like that, if they set it up like that, I'd be completely okay.
Yeah.
As long as everything else that
As long as
is
you
currently
get
a
that
loose
closure.
thread,
'Cause
as
that
long
was
as they
another-
tie that up, I'll
Yeah.
be fine.
Because that that was another thing I was going to get into is if this is going to be the last game, which we don't know it is or anything, but if this is their be all end all, or like beating Solus is the final like main thing, there are so many loose ends, and not even like minor loose ends like, oh, this codex explained this we never explored. Like, we need to resolve the Blight, the Elven Gods, the Veil, and I guess the Titans as well, but they're kind of connected to the Blight, but we've only just learned about them. We need to learn about the Kunari. Like,
those are the big ones.
What made the Kunari? That's just 5 off the top of my head. All of those being resolved in one game is going to be huge. Let alone whatever happens with Solus now.
The closure on Solar Villain is definitely, I think, something that we can expect.
I'm begging you.
But then closure on like everything is really hard. So that it has to be nitpicky on what closure we get.
Because with Inquisition, every DLC just added more questions, especially Trespasser. So if they do Dreadwolf, every DLC needs to wrap up a loose end if they're not going into 5.
Yes, as opposed to opening up to more questions.
Oh, please do not give us more. Like, I will take more lore, but I cannot.
Yeah, more questions.
I can't take another decade to find out what the hell is going on.
You can.
I feel like they need to wrap up the things that cause the most issues now. So the Veil, the Elven Gods, Solus, obviously. I feel like they could probably wait with the Kunari, because
they can wait with the Maker and the Chant of Light and all that stuff from the first game, because that don't even matter anymore.
I honestly don't really want to know who the Maker is. I like it being a mystery.
We already know who he is. It's Samuel.
I can. That's true. I can live with not knowing where the Kunari exactly came from. Whereas if we are not getting any answers to what's happening with the Veil, and I mean, of course we are, but like, imagine that doesn't get resolved. Like, I'd be pretty pissed.
I want to, because it's where the whole series started. What is the Blight, and where did it come from? That is
the first question. That is
especially with the Grey Warden civil war that's going on, or potentially going on. And the Grey Wardens have been integral to every single, not as much in 2, but they're still there. The other 2 games, they have been integral to the plot. The Blight's always been a threat and the major driving force behind 2 of the main characters so far. Like, obviously in Origins, you are the warden that defeats the Blight. Hawk goes to Kirkwall because of the Blight, and in Dragon Age 3, the Blight's the whole reason that Corypheus is even around. And with all that, we need to figure out the Blight and Solus. Like, those are the 2 main ones. Everything else can be side content or DLC, but Elven Gods and the Blight.
I agree.
Yeah, there are
theories could be combined and might be the same outcome, but
there are still 2 old gods left, so
double Blight.
I still want that. I'm not sure if it's gonna happen, but I still want that.
I mean, it would definitely raise the stakes a bit more.
Yeah,
if I put on my tinfoil hat, I'm not saying this is gonna happen, but what if Solus is the main villain, and then either the second villain is gonna be the Elven Gods, or it's gonna be a double Blight, or even better, deal with Solus, we deal with the Elven Gods, and then at the very end of the game, or maybe in a DLC, we see like a cutscene or like a scene of Darkspawn waking 2 of the old gods, and then we see them rise, and then that's what the next game is going to be about.
Oh, so it ends on the next game being a double Blight.
Mythal waking up the last 2 dragons.
That's a good one too.
Would she wake
for
up,
whatever
or
reason.
would she take their souls and they could come back as untainted old gods?
Like wakes them up and she's just waiting for a Grey Warden to kill them so she can like swoop in. Or
honestly, my big thing is Mythal is the big villain of it in DA5 as Morrigan's vessel, whatever.
Yeah.
Another solution.
That's another thing.
What if Solus and the Elven Gods are too much, and we purposefully start a Blight wherever they are? If we start.
So I've always heard the theory that Solus might do that, but we doing that, bro.
I was gonna say, like, if we know where the Elven Gods are locked up, or wherever, like, we know that Solus has, like, or one of the Elven Gods has retreated to this place in the Neanderthals, and it's like, all right, wake the dragon up, send the Blight in, we'll deal with it after.
Or maybe we even do it just by accident.
I would not be surprised.
And then, it'd be cool though.
Every single one of our protagonists has succeeded because they did an accident.
They did it, yeah. Oops, I just accidentally woke up an old sentient old god. Oopsie daisies.
Oopsie
How
daisy.
did I manage that?
Oopsie daisy, I picked up a tennis ball with this darkspawn in this room. Oopsie daisy, I didn't get infected and my sibling's gonna die in the deep roads, but I found money. Oopsie daisy, that darkspawn didn't shoot me in the heart and Mythol picked me up.
Don't forget about the Red Lyrium idol.
Yeah.
But it'd be perfect.
Yeah.
So our new protagonist in Dreadwolf maybe accidentally starts the new blight, and then our next protagonist in the next game is gonna have to solve that issue. That'd be funny.
You start a double blight. Message from the hero Ferelden.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
You idiot.
Message from the hero Ferelden. I'm not helping.
No. Full stop.
Honestly, that is the one thing I hope we will get an answer to, but I doubt it, is the hero of Ferelden's quest for a cure for the calling. That would be, if there is one thing I know I cannot have but want to have, it is a DLC with either us playing as the hero of Ferelden on that quest, or another warden following in the footsteps of our hero of Ferelden, following the clues they left behind. At the end of it, we find a cure and we find either our warden about to die, and we can talk to them and they can give us the final bits of information that we need, or we find their body as they were in Assassin's Creed Revelations. You as Ezio, I think you find the body of Altair.
Yeah, Altair, even
that kind of scenario. That's what I'm picturing for this hypothetical DLC that I will never get. Sad face.
Yeah, even though it's the game I know I'm never going to get, my ultimate hope for Dreadwolf would have been that as you're playing with Rook, similar to Cyberpunk, where you flick between V and Johnny Silverhands, memories, flipping between Rook and then the Warden on their mission, and it somehow connects to the Blight and the Elven Gods, and you're playing as Rook, you learn something about the Elven Gods, and then it flicks to the Warden investigating the origins of the Blight and how to cure the Wardens and stuff, and you do that multiple times throughout the game to uncover both at once. And I've mentioned this on stream a few times, where my ultimate fantasy for the ending of this game would be, if you've made the right choices through all three games, that your final party to fight against Solus or Mythal or whoever the final boss is would be Rook, Champion, Inquisitor, Warden.
Yes!
All four of your party members, any companions that are still alive.
Yes.
Any companions that are still alive, fighting off a horde or whatever behind you, and just having that as your final party would just be please.
I would love that so much.
And then it's if Hawk got left behind in the Fade and Inquisition, then you get Alistair or Stroud. If your Warden's dead, you get the Warden Commander from Awakening. The Inquisitor's always alive, for now, maybe. We don't know what's going to happen.
Maybe.
Either the Inquisitor, Solus, or Varric, or all three are going to die in this game. I'm just saying.
I'd be okay with Varric dying if they do it in a good way.
But if BioWare were to do that, I don't know what I'd do. Nothing would top that for me. That would be my wish for Dreadwolf.
That would be it. That's it. That is it.
The ultimate fan service ending.
True.
And then Morrigan
Which is
and
the
my
way
hero
to go.
Ferelden.
Infinity War, Endgame it, whatever. Give us that fan service ending that we all want. Do it.
And then my hero Ferelden and Morrigan live a very long, happy life together with Kieran.
Going back to your original question, Lambo, I think my answer is a mix of both of yours together. I want the closure, specifically with the soul level and stuff, but I know that we can't get closure on everything, and I'm okay with that. But also, I'm not going in expecting Dreadwolf to be the best video game ever, and I don't think I want it to be at the same time, just given its rough development cycle.
That would incentivize BioWare to be oh, well, this works. If this chaotic development cycle comes out with one of the best BioWare games ever, EA is only going to look at that as a win. They are not going to see that it was in spite of rather than because of.
And that's the thing with Inquisition, that as much as it was a huge success, it took BioWare by surprise because it was not a game made under good working conditions. Now, I'm not accusing anybody of Dreadwolf's working conditions, but looking in from the outside, it's been a rough development. It pivots.
That is putting it lightly.
Senior leadership, management, kerfuffles, lots of things. And I don't want to make any massive accusations. I don't even want to talk about crunch, but the layoffs and everything. I don't want it to be the best thing ever to go alongside EA's support and success and thinking that layoffs are okay. In the same breath, though, I'm not expecting it to. And I don't think that a game with this prolonged development is going to be the best.
Baldur's Gate 3 has shown how it should be done.
No, for sure,
EA, if Dragon Age Dreadwolf succeeds, EA would not look at Baldur's Gate 3 and be okay, if we do that, we could do even better. They would just be yeah, no, it works, let's keep doing it.
That's it.
Actually, no.
Yeah.
You 30% of you are fired, AI, get in there.
That's the thing. For me, I want it to be a great Dragon Age game. If it's anything like Inquisition, I will love it to death because I really liked Inquisition. If it's like Inquisition, but with improvements based on Inquisition's flaws, because it will be, for me, the best Dragon Age Dreadwolf game it can be. But I'm not going in expecting it to be Baldur's Gate 3. I'm not going in expecting it to be to revolutionize Dragon Age. I'm going in expecting Dragon Age Inquisition 2 to some extent, with Frostbite engine, similar graphics, similar world, similar systems, similar gameplay systems, but then more so improved and hopefully learned based on Inquisition's mistakes that many people have pointed out. And also, from the outside looking in, the developers have taken note of and have gone, actually, those open world sandboxes didn't work. Actually, the influence mechanic didn't work. So if it gets rid of the tat of Inquisition, then for me it'll be brilliant.
Focus on the aspects that make a good Dragon Age game,
That's
and
it.
everything else is, well, obviously, we've obviously seen from like the behind the scenes trailer that came out, like the core combat looks completely different. That's completely new, so that'll be a mystery. But at least from what we've seen so far, I do like the new approach. All they need to do is just like immerse us into Winter. We've seen Ferelden.
Yeah.
It's not the best place to explore, but it's like default fantasy setting. Orlais we didn't get as much of, but like
we want more.
Emprise du Loin was amazing to explore. The snow-covered Red Lyrium mine. Western Approach can die. And there's just so much sand. If most levels can be like Emprise du Loin, like there's a start and an end, it's fairly linear, but there's a lot of side stuff to go into. Focus more on those smaller, enclosed, content-packed areas as opposed to, I don't know, the hinterlands.
Don't you love the hinterlands, Lambo?
I love spending 20 hours
Isn't that
starting
your
a new
favorite?
game. The new combat, hit or miss, just focus on the story and showing us this new magical world of Tevinter and its surrounding areas. Tie up some loose ends. That'll be okay.
Similar opinion. I think if they are taking away stuff like you can't play as your party members, that will take away, for me, the experience of what Dragon Age is, and that would be like, okay, well, that's an interesting take. Like, I can understand it if there's a multiplayer, single-player pivot, and why they've chosen to do that, but that isn't what authentically Dragon Age has always been. Fair enough, changing the graphics and, adding in new mechanics, but that literally is taking away a core aspect of its combat system. So that would be interesting if that obviously that's based on a leak that we don't know, and that's why we haven't taken it into account. But that will be an interesting thing if that is such a case, and that's where I expect mechanics experience in Inquisition. Some taken away because they were naff, like the influence system that I talked about. Maybe I wasn't the biggest fan of the war table, to be honest. It was interesting, but I got mods to get.
The timers were way too long.
Playing that for the first time on consoles, I was like, ugh. Removing mechanics to that, brilliant. And I understand I'm asking them to remove mechanics that were annoying, but playing as your companions was always fun and always much needed.
It was.
You got to experience all the classes in one playthrough. It just added so much different of a gameplay value, and being able to choose that in tactics mode 2, I'd like to see that return.
I don't think it's going to be Inquisition 2, because from everything we've seen, they're going in a more action-oriented gameplay direction. I think they're stepping away from tactics completely, which is fine, because like every Dragon Age game has been very different so far.
It's more the accessibility.
That. I agree. Like, I like being able to control my party members, because the AI isn't always the best.
What are you talking about? I love playing Dragon Age Origins on any difficulty but easy and watching Morrigan kill everyone, including me.
But see, the thing is, that is where you can set tactics for your companions.
Exactly.
I don't think we'll be able to do that in Dreadwolf. I remember it being such an annoying thing in Mass Effect Andromeda, because my squad mates were so dumb sometimes.
and you want to get
being
one
able
button
to control
prompt as well. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Along with like just making it easier. Like, some people can't play Inquisition normally. It's true. They have to play it in tactics mode because of disabilities or like
just being able to pause the game though in real time is good too though. And think about what you're gonna do. Or you're in an insane difficulty. It's just good to think about that. And it is, Dragon Age comes from a history of CRPGs with those mechanics. It was initially targeted towards those types of players. And so to remove it completely and, not bring it back when it was initially for that target audience is alienating those original fans. And I think
especially when we're in an age where accessibility is so
also a good
ingrained into new games.
Also a good point. But the thing that it really harps on us, at least as already mentioned, is the thing with every Dragon Age game, and I've talked about this in countless videos, is they're all so different. So what the heck is Dreadwolf going to do? Is it going to go down the origin stories route of the original and go for a more tactics feel with slower gameplay? Obviously, we know it's not going down, but you know what I'm saying? with that kind of slower paced thing, but then it's got a huge focus on its story and you play it regardless of its slow tactics gameplay? Or is it going to do a Dragon Age 2 where it's action orientated, no tactics, you're fully in there, the combat is so fast paced, the story is smaller, but it's more close at home. It's got this acts based system where the story progresses through acts and you do all these side quests and they all connect intertwinedly. Or is it going to go down as open world sandbox route where you are this historical figure in Thedas and you've got an influence mechanic, you've got a war table mechanic, and you are building up so many legions in the world of Thedas. And they all have so many different core gameplay mechanics. What is Dreadwolf going to do? And that's why I called it Inquisition 2, because I feel like it may stem more from Inquisition's mechanics in terms of using Frostbite's tools, that using a lot of the mechanics they had in that game to save resources. But who really knows? Because while Dragon Age is, a lot of us have a similar approach to what Dragon Age is in terms of its story, characters, its romance systems, its escapism, its comfort, its lore. What it is in terms of its gameplay is a different story. I mean, we could go around the room. What is Dragon Age gameplay-wise for you, Lambo? What makes that game experience?
If you like Origins, you like the slower, more methodical, strategic. Origins has the most variety for a mage if you're playing as a mage. There is so many things you can do, so many different mechanics. Like, entropy on its own is just like debuffs and spreading poison. And from 2 onwards, like 2 in Inquisition, you basically get like walking bomb and like 2 debuffs.
Yeah.
And everything else is gone. Healer,
Mage is the most interesting in Origins.
The more the games go on, the less healing you can do. Can you even do any in Inquisition? I think there's like a...
There is some Knight Enchanter ones. There's a Knight Enchanter one where you can heal everybody, but it's like a focus ability.
It's the focus one. I think there was a Necromancer one where you can like reverse times. Either way, it's
honestly, I'm always a Rift Mage, so I don't know.
My canon is a Rift Mage, but I play as Knight Enchanter just to have more fun because
so good.
Bring Arcane Warrior back. Bring Arcane Warrior back. But that leads into what I was actually going to say.
But yeah, your original,
Dragon Age has never been good at taking modern trends that every other game also takes around the time for better. Like when Inquisition came out, a lot of games like Assassin's Creed Revelations and a lot of those other games had that. All right, send your X group on real-time based missions and they can give you rewards, and your army of zealots and religious soldiers would come back with a fucking daisy chain of elf fruit. Even now, there's no transmog besides the die system. There's no like transmog system. There was not a very good variety of armor in the game. I was saying to Lisa before we started this is that the crafting system for armor and weapons is good. I do enjoy that aspect, but as opposed to making the schematics the focus, it should be the materials. Like, you get a schematic for the default starting mercenary armor. I like the look of that. Past the hinterlands, it's useless.
Yes.
So instead of making the schematic be good, just take that schematic and be like, if I just shove like dragon scales into this, it's the best armor in the game because I use the best material. The schematic is just what it looks like. Either do that or have a transmog system. I want to be beautiful. Also, more hairstyles than 50 bold ones. Please, God.
I just want to be able to wear the armor that I like and have good stats on it.
Transmog should be a system in every single RPG now.
If we can have the Black Emporium, we can have a fucking transmog system.
Yeah, I mean, we'll be into Vinter. We don't need an explanation. It's just weird magic stuff.
If you could write a codex to explain how a mirror changes your actual physical appearance, I'm pretty sure a magical ring that illusions your armor is not that difficult, BioWare.
Something else I wanted to mention before I forget is that I hope they improve the dialogue system, or mainly just the things that relate to your class or your race, because I felt like it was a little bit lacking at times in Inquisition, especially in some places when you're an elf and Morrigan explains to you who Mythal is.
Just having your having your decisions affect your character's dialogue, essentially.
Basically,
Baldur's Gate has taken that so far to like the extreme, which is brilliant. But even just a little bit more.
I try not to compare the two.
Yeah, but just a little bit more.
I try not to compare the two.
Just like the quick example for Baldur's Gate is romancing Shadowheart regularly, pretty good, very good, entertaining time. Romancing her as a cleric that is dedicated to Selune changes the entire dynamic and gives you more content than you would ever expect.
Exactly. I want something like that.
Like Dark Urge.
I just want more class and race related dialogue, because a lot of the dialogue, whether you're playing an elf or dwarf or Kunari, a lot of it is just the same. So it'd be nice to have just a little bit more flavor to that, if that makes sense.
And if you want to make it up to us, BioWare, have an option where we explain explain something elfy to Morrigan in
Yeah.
a
Exactly.
Yes.
Or, like,
yeah,
gi-
I
give
know
us-
who
give-
Mythal is, Morgan. You
Give
don't
us
need
an
to tell me that.
actually moment.
Actually, Morgan.
I wish we had an option like that.
So Lisa, what
But,
in terms of like a
yeah.
gameplay like experience, and what is Dragon Age to you in terms of that?
I loved the turn-based combat system in Baldur's Gate 3. It is my favorite type of
No
like combat
way.
gameplay. I discovered it when I played Baldur's Gate 3, but yeah. However, I do think real-time with pause is just a very big part of Dragon Age, and it'd be very weird not to have that.
Yeah.
I don't mind the shift towards more like action, real-time action combat, I guess, but I would very much miss the pause option. I agree with you as well that not being able to control companions,
Yes.
I would not like that. Like,
No.
I guess I can deal with not being able to pause, but not being able to control companions. And also in regards to the pause option, I like sometimes when combat is hectic to just pause for a few seconds and think about what I'm going to do, position my
Absolutely.
companions, make sure they're in the right place, think about their actions, then just let it play out.
That goes into something that it's something I've thought about Dragon Age for a while, and I guess I'll just soundboard off you guys now. Is Dragon Age can't commit to a gameplay style.
That's it. That's
Like,
the point. That was
lot,
the point.
a lot of AAA games where they just put a lot of different gameplay in to have general appeal. Like, you have Dragon Age Inquisition, where there's the faster like Dragon Age 2 are the fastest paced combat by far, and Inquisition slowed it down
Yeah.
a bit, where it's like, if you were playing as a rogue with dual daggers, the game felt great. You had a lot of movement, a lot of utility. If you played as a mage, you were stuck, planted, sitting in a position, unless you had the Rift Walk ability, and you would just sit there meleeing and casting spells, which you should be doing, but you didn't do anything else. The mages felt made for a tactics mode where you can choose spells and load them up. The warriors were too slow to do much, and as much as I enjoyed using the parry ability, it also kind of felt like a situation where you'd pause, see what an enemy's doing, and ready the parry ability.
Yeah.
And if you're an archer, much like the mage, you just planted in position. Because it's not like Origins where you can set up the tactics menu, it's neither beneficial to play it like it is like a turn-based game or like has the tactics of Origins, but if you just try to play it like it's a third-person, like fast-paced combat, unless you're playing as a rogue, you're going to be disappointed with the variety.
Honestly, in terms of how does it feel to play, I think Dragon Age 2 does the best job at that.
Yes.
Because of how fast-paced it is. Now, I usually play a mage. If I can
Same.
play a mage, I will play a mage. So I actually like ranged characters, and I prefer it too. So I don't mind being planted in one spot and just throwing out spells. I like that. But I feel like, Origins combat is kind of clunky, it's slow. It's fine for what it is. It's an old game, and it's a tactical game. I don't know what it is about Inquisition, but whenever I play a melee character, I always find myself getting stuck mid-stab if I play a rogue. My character is mid-animation, and I want to move, but it finishes the animation first before moving, and moving away feels kind of slow. I don't know if I'm explaining this properly.
No.
I don't know.
Even as a maid, like, moving in combat, because, as soon as you get out of combat, you put your weapon away and you start sprinting like normal speed, but in combat, you feel like you're, like, slowed by 30% just walking around. And that's why, as a mage, like, Rift Walk is a must for me to be able to maneuver around the battlefield. If you're the
Also,
warrior, the
it's
charge
not-
the charge ability. If you're the rogue, the, like, pulling yourself to an enemy, or the backstab dash.
Moving also isn't instant, whereas in Dragon
it's-
Age 2, it is instant.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't like playing melee characters in Inquisition, because it just feels a bit sluggish. I don't know if that's the right word.
Sluggish is the right one. Like,
Sluggish. That's what it feels like.
I get the best and worst of both worlds because I enjoy playing as, specifically in Origins, like the Arcane Warrior. I love playing as a mage who can be in melee casting spells. Like, for Origins, that's fine. I love pausing, like, mid-melee swing to set up a spell. Dragon Age 2, that's just regular mage, but the fast-paced combat helps enough. And in Inquisition, like, playing as a Knight Enchanter, if you don't have Rift Walk, that is a goddamn nightmare getting around the battlefield.
Yeah.
And even then, the Knight Enchanter isn't as satisfying because it's not fast-paced enough to feel like as cathartic as playing as the rogue, but it's also not, like, again, with no tactics menu in Inquisition, you can't set it up to be mid-strike and then cast a spell, because just meleeing is a spell for the Knight Enchanter.
Yeah.
And it's just a case of build armor, build armor, build armor, build armor, or like barrier.
Yeah.
And it's not as satisfying.
But I think
I get that.
A point that you were going on to, Lambo, was like Dragon Age doesn't know what it is, or it's trying to be so many things. But I think that's also also not down to the developers, it's down to EA. Mark Darris said so many times, they were like, EA execs have been like, so it's called Dragon Age, can you like ride a dragon or something? And they were like, no, it's not called it for that. And they were like, well, can you just put mounts in it? And hence why we got mounts in Inquisition, because Skyrim had mounts and they seemed like the biggest craze at the time. So I think while the developers obviously fight for these things, and as we hear they fought for the single player pivot, there are some things they just cannot fight for, because EA are like, well, we want a mount in our game, or we want an open world, or we want this, or we want tens of hours of gameplay, we want fetch quests. So while obviously we are critiquing it from a BioWare development point of view, I do think it's an EA market kind of thing. Yeah, it's tricky.
And that's
that was the case with Dragon Age 2 as well, because it was originally going to be called Dragon Age Exodus, but EA, because it's a sequel, or EA wanted it to be like a direct sequel, so because they were afraid people wouldn't know it was a sequel, so they told BioWare to call it Dragon Age 2 instead.
You can tell they were like thrown in and not exactly paid attention to, because it was fairly recently, but I think it's been known for a while. Like, it got passed around again that like regular mount speed and sprinting mount speed, there's no difference. It just zooms the camera in. That's all it does.
Fake.
It is
all they added was a bunch of lines.
It is faster to just rift walk and wait for it to come back up, or charge as the warrior, or just dash forward as the rogue, than it is to get a mount. And when you get on the mount, you lose the worst part of the game. You lose the companion dialogue, and you need that companion dialogue for Adorable.
That is another thing. If we have mounts in the next game, I hope if I get on a mount, my companions get on a mount as well, because I need to hear them banter.
Absolutely.
And it makes more sense.
Mounts. Big mounts that everyone hops on. Get us
all on
giant griffin.
The giant nug creature that we got in Inquisition as kind of
a Nuggalope.
Yeah, Nuggalopes. Yes. Get one of those, pulling a cart that we're all sitting in.
Or just don't do mounts. I don't care for mounts.
Griffin mount or nothing. Flying mount or nothing.
Don't have maps that are so big you need a mount. That's
another thing. I hope they move away from the open world and go back to an Origins like approach, where the maps are a little bit more linear, but they're still big enough to properly explore and feel like you're being, like you're actually exploring an area.
And the reward for exploration isn't going to be another fetch quest.
Yeah, no, exactly. I don't know why. I have a feeling that's
the best part
sort of moving away from open world. I don't know, maybe it's because I've read so many complaints from so many people that they're tired of the fetch quest, and it was the same issue with Andromeda. I kind of hope that they just move away from that.
No, I'm all in that camp.
We still need the side quests and stuff, but they need to lean more towards...
Like Dragon Age Origins, or like Mass Effect side content. It's good.
Even
one or two fetch quests are fine, but not a whole bunch
not a whole
of them.
Game
just
of
not another
quests.
Another shard, please. Don't make me go collect
more shards. I don't want shards anymore.
Good and bad side quests. Bad. Mass Effect Andromeda. You meet a new race. You are envoys of a new race in the galaxy, and some chick asks you to go to a random planet and find something for her, or pick up her laundry or something. That's stupid. And then you get like side quests in Dragon Age Origins, where all the side quests or fetch quests are always in the city that you're currently in. Like going to Redcliffe for the first time, you talk to the blacksmith and he's like, hey, my daughter's in the castle. You'll be going there, and you can go find her. You don't have to, but it's a side quest that you will naturally go into. And I want more stuff like that. And a good example is like The Witcher, where side quests have characters and self-contained stories or play into the main story.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's not just, hey, I need 5 elf root so I can make a daisy chain to give to your soldiers for their war table mission.
Yeah. I don't mind fetching something for you, just make it interesting. Make me meet another character.
Hey, I need 20 nug skin, and after you kill 20 nugs, you summon the nug demon who gets pissed at you for killing nugs. Like, something fun.
And then make me be able to deal with this demon. The demon approaches us, make it talk to us.
Yes, let
Instead
it offer
of
us virgins.
Default to fighting.
Just like
exactly.
What was that, Lambo?
Exactly.
Have it offer us virgins, like in Inquisition. You know, you either get money, you get power, or you get virgins, and everyone always asks for the virgins. Because he's a choice spirit.
He's a choice spirit. Spirit.
You
God,
choose.
I love him. I love him.
So, I think our final topic. What are our expectations for the summer reveal? When is it going to be? When and what?
When I've got not a single clue. But I'm not putting money on when. Jack, you know why you shouldn't put money on when. You haven't eaten a shoe.
Don't talk about eating shoes, and you'll be fine. I think it'll be the Summer Game Fest. I'm not sure when else they would reveal something, maybe in their own show, but other than that, I think Summer Games Fest is probably the best bet for them as well. Also to get a lot of eyes on it, too. Also, I'm biased because, for once, the event is on a Friday night and not at like 2 a.m. in the morning. So I can actually, watch it live.
It would suck. It would suck to be awake at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Sorry, Lambo.
As for what they're going to show off, I have two predictions. It'll either be your main character reveal and your story of like who is Rook, or like showing off like the little snippets of things we will do, like similar to when they showed off the Inquisitor, but we didn't know their origin. Or it'll be the Your Companions trailer that we always get.
You reckon it'll be companions?
The first trailer that Inquisition ever showed off was the one where like they're all fighting the demons. There was Varric, Cassandra, Vivienne, and Bull. We had no idea who anyone but Varric and Cassandra were, but it was just showing all the companions fighting demons, and we were just left to speculate who they were. Yeah. So I think it'll be something like that, where we'll see a lot of good characters in the trailer, and it might not be so much as a introducing companions like they did for each individual companion. That's my guess, is either focusing on Rook or cutscenes showing off characters that'll be in our party, or at least very important to the game.
Yeah. I think that's a good
bet. I be bold?
You could be bold.
Okay,
I don't think
I'm gonna be bold.
Solus might not like you to be bold.
I'm gonna go ahead and say we're gonna get both, as well as a gameplay trailer, because BioWare have mentioned that there's gonna be multiple trailers.
But is that gonna be at Summer Games Fest though?
Well, that depends. If they get their own section where the developers come on stage and talk about it, maybe.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, they could do a multiple.
I hope it's gonna be like that. This is gonna be my prediction.
Oh no.
I'm looking forward to see how wrong I'm gonna be, but this is my prediction. It's gonna start with and now what you've all been waiting for, blah blah blah, and then it's gonna show like a general trailer showing off Rook, our new main character, and then the developers are gonna come on stage and everyone cheers, and then they're gonna talk about the companions, and then they're gonna show off some companions, maybe some images, and then they're gonna show off some gameplay, and then they're gonna give us the release date. That's my prediction.
That's your prediction.
I am not promising to eat a shoe if I'm wrong. Just saying that.
I think you should.
Just saying that right now.
I think you should up the stakes.
No.
I think you should up the stakes.
Jack, you still need to eat your steaks.
I did. You just didn't see it. You just weren't there when I did it.
Well, then there's no proof. I just really want to see it.
I think whatever they show, we just want to see it.
But are you guys sure you don't want another mural or Solus?
I'm definitely sure at this point.
Yes, I'm very sure.
I do not want to see
He does paint a mean mural, and we haven't seen enough Solus. I don't think he's going to be in the next game, honestly.
I mean, I love Solus. He's a great artist.
Something with that,
but I've seen enough. I also don't think we're going to be the case.
He's in the intro, and we never see him again.
It gets resolved in the first act.
No, he tears open the veil, but we do not fix the veil in this game. We do not see him again.
That's the game. He wins. First
he tears up, we fail, and we die. That's it, guys. There you go. You've been waiting 10 years for this.
We spend Dreadwolf fixing the blight, and then the fifth game is confronting Solus.
Oh no!
And we have to find someone else he doesn't know.
Oh
no! I cannot wait that long. No, please.
Guys, he didn't know Rook, but Rook beat the double blight, so Solus knows him. We have to go somewhere he doesn't know. We have to go to the Canary.
Please, someone get me out of Solar Villain Hell. I can't.
We're just going further north until we beat Solus.
Think
the
of
Canary
that.
Homeland. It's not
Parvolan or Saharan?
Parvolan, thank you. Parvolan. I kept thinking Kal Sharok. That's the dwarves.
Kal Sharok is that's under the ground.
Hopefully we do go there.
We might go there actually.
I want to see the Darkspawn infested dwarves. dwarves, the blighted dwarves that the Grey
You
Wardens
know-
were really sus about.
In that one behind the scenes trailer, we did get a very short segment of a weird something what looked like a baby. I was gonna say golem.
A baby
no,
titan.
a baby titan. Yeah, a baby
The little
titan.
grin they did.
Yeah, it looked
Yeah.
really cute. But like,
was-
what was that all about? There is a chance we're gonna get more dwarf related stuff, which would
Yeah.
be
Are we
great,
getting-
honestly.
What if the baby titan is a mount?
You just ride its tremors
I don't-
into battle.
I'm sorry, I'm not enthusiastic about mounts. Just not.
What if he's a pet?
Can I give him a? Can I pet him?
Well, yeah.
We'll have a pet rock, literally.
The biggest pet rock Fadus ever did
Hey,
see.
didn't they say Dragon Age Dreadwolf is built on Anthem's codebase?
Yes.
So, like,
Yeah.
I want a griffin and I want to be able to fly it. Come on.
This has absolutely nothing to do with what we've been talking about, but two quick things. First of all, do you think Sandal's been touched by a titan,
Yes.
similar to Volta?
Yes.
Maybe. He
And that's
might
why,
be, yeah.
because he was just found in the underground and he is already messed
Yeah.
up. Or the second thing, if he hasn't, what if he does?
Well, what if he's gonna get touched by a titan?
Yeah,
If we even
he
see
remembers
it-
he's the maker, but now
I
he
wonder if
remembers
we're
he
gonna
is.
see Sandal.
I
I don't
hope
think
so.
we will.
We don't need
It
to
was a
see
shame
him.
But
not seeing
We don't
him.
need to see him because he's everywhere. Because he's the maker, so he's always.
That's
watching.
true. He is within
He's
our hearts.
He's everywhere. He is.
It is.
Theus.
We already know his
He's
type
watching.
as well. It's Andraste.
Yeah.
With that, I mean, we don't really know how to end this because this is kind of just a casual podcast of like trying to keep it cool and not strict and structured. So I don't really know how we do end it.
How about we end it with a question for everyone listening?
Yes.
What are your expectations for the summer reveal, and when do you think
it is?
uh,
I know I
they'll
didn't
show
say,
something?
but I feel like I talk about all the time in videos. But I think Summer Games Fest is the biggest bet, and I think Lisa's probably more accurate in terms of what we're going to get. But like, I don't want it to be Summer Games Fest just because I'm selfish and I'm seeing Taylor Swift that day.
Yeah.
But I also kind of do just so you got something. So
I was going to say, yeah, Jack is unfortunately going to be shaking it off while,
Yeah.
while that is happening. So, unlike usual, I will be taking over stream for the day. Hopefully that goes well, because I don't know how to stream. So, closer to the date, we'll also put out details about that. Lisa and I will be watching it live, and
Yeah.
it'll be just like Jack streams without the British, which can be an improvement depending on how you feel about the British.
Hey!
No, depending on how you feel about the British, not how you feel about Jack. I'm talking about your people, not specifically
So
you. And I can throw shade at the British because you
can.
sent us all here to this hellhole.
you should get some audio prompts of me. Then I'm not gone.
No, I'm just gonna have
We should.
your intro, the core, and just
Yeah,
spam
yeah.
that
He's
whenever you.
Jack's here. Call.
Nice Jackdaw here.
He's here.
Just-
He didn't.
Just to reiterate, I love Jack, hate the British.
So Jack, what's your opinion on this? Hey guys, Jackdaw here.
That's good. Lambo
We can
hates
just
me,
pretend we're
confirmed.
talking to Jack, and then whenever he
Sorry.
needs to answer, we can play the audio.
Yeah.
I'll just have a soundboard of Jack. Yes, no.
Yeah.
Oh, Taylor Swift.
That's it. That'll be enough to keep you covered the night. I will be covering the Summer Games Fest if it happens the next day, but I'm not gone for long. I know it's going to be a big day, but yes. What do you all think about the
Yeah.
summer reveal? Is EA Play going to suddenly, randomly, going to spring upon us, and BioWare are going to announce it like once this podcast has gone live, and we're going to be like, aha, July 17th, Dreadwolf, wahaha, or are we just Summer Games Festing it? Is it going to be Xbox, which is on Sunday, which I can watch? Let us know what you think about the podcast. It's goals. It's what you thought about this casual approach, less structure, more just kind of like a hangout. That's kind of what we're going for with topics obviously in between. We just want to keep this casual, especially we're going to be talking about a lot of like news in the future and opinions, and just trying to have a more of a casual, fun approach to talking about Dragon Age. But I guess we'll see you next time when
Thank you.
the next breadcrumb has arrived on our plate.
It goes well with a little bit of ham of despair. So, yeah.
Oh, we love the ham of despair.
We love the ham
Yeah.
of despair.
pair it with a cheese wheel. Mm.
Gonna be a nice dread sandwich.
Oh, with a nice
Yeah.
dredge
The cru-
of
The
vinegar.
crumbs of a dread
red-
sandwich.
Some red lyrium tea on the side. It's gonna be perfect.
Don't forget your omelette with that as well.
No, now you're making me cry.
The
you're right.
Solar Valen
Yeah.
omelette paired with the dread sandwich.
And the solar volunteers in my coffee.
The Soul of Volunteers, yeah.
And we detest this stuff.
And we definitely don't detest the stuff in England. But okay, bye everybody.
Oh yeah.
Goodbye.
Bye.